Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Big Bear and continue with this series right here. I'm going to talk with you about showing you how to play Unholy DK in some decent key, and with some information I gave you over here. Basically, like it's not just Unholy DK, but it can apply to other class as well, generalized. So we're gonna get started over here, and we're gonna skip the first three guy over here, as like doing this pack over here is a little bit of a pain. Right, so we're skipping that, running through and pulling the big guy into the boss. All right, over here I'm gonna start to spread my dot over here, put my cooldown on, and I target the Bloodhound. We do have two guys who can shoot over here, but this is like perk, and we will never know when things go wrong. I mean, this guy very good. As you can see, this is a 14. They are really good, really good about stuff, but still, you never know when things go wrong. So just target. I just target a Bloodhound and I switch target now. Whatever I can reach in range, kick as needed, defensive as possible, right? When you need it, and then that's the whole fight. As you can see, like on pull, my DPS is quite low, even lower than the tank, but it's Unholy DK, and that's how our spec nowadays. You wouldn't just slowly ramping up, okay? So like I do 2 million, the tank used to do 4 million, and by the end you can just see, you could see like my numbers start ramping up. Okay, but not as strong as these two. I don't know, but they just really strong for this key. Yeah, so but that the whole fight, and we are really strong at 2 target clear, but when it go to adding a 3rd target in there, I think like Marksmanship Hunter cap at 5 target, anything more than 5 they start to do reduced damage. What is that? Devokers is, I think it cap at 5 or 6 or 7, something I forgot. I don't think they cap. They have some cap targets too. But when we have 3 target, and well, they are better than me in doing 3 target. If only 2 target, and my number gonna ramping up. Over here, I save my big cooldown. I only use small cooldown because these two are almost dead, and there's no need for me to pump the big cooldown here. I just use my small cooldown, and it will come back up when we go down there. Okay, so whatever pull that they have next, I'm gonna have big cooldown for that. There's no need to waste a like big cooldown for what? Big cooldown for a 2% HP left pause. Okay, so done in here, going down. And then we're gonna go to save the Unfallen, the arena boss. In here, in this wing over here, the one that you really want to kill is those Everlast. Basically those sniper archer. They do a random target. They are not only targeting the tank, and kind of like they put a nasty dot on people. See that? So we really want to, as you can see here, I just single target that guy. I just on him all the time until I kill it. And then now I switch to the big guy, because the other 2 small guys only target the tank, and most of the tank at this level, they should be able to survive themselves. Yeah. So this is just data file over here. Now this interrupting raw over here, in hierarchy, I think like for start from 16, 17, you might want some defensive or some trick, and those things make the disperse nowadays so strong, because they can just spread the shield on everybody. Because without a shield, right, it's gonna kill people, but with the shield, it's gonna bring you down even to like 1%. You're not gonna die from, because there's no dot following that, so you're not gonna die. And if you're not dying, they can slowly heal you up. Other healer nowadays, like beside this burst, they don't have a shield. So in here, really dangerous. I had to run out. But anyway, other healer like have to wait until you start getting hurt. Like do it. They can put the heart on you, the healing over time on you before the big AoE, but it just make it faster for them to heal you back up, but it's not really prevent you from something that may one-shotting you. Over here, we try to skip this one, but well, we're supposed to have kind of like a spot and then speed up, but good, this is a perk group, so sometimes things happen like that. But anyway, this dungeon is not really an Unholy DK dungeon. There may be like 2 or 3 pole that you can really show up. Most of the time, like you cannot catch up with, especially with these 2 guys over here, Marksmanship and Devoker. They are very strong in key like this. If it uncapped, then the story may change a little bit. But when you have like 20 or 40 ad pull, but it's only usually like 5 or less ad, and you cannot catch up with them. So over here I have my big cooldown, then now I have my small cooldown. I still cannot catching up with these 2. And it's okay. Like you cannot be like top DPS for every single dungeon. That too OP. Like what is that? Deathstroke Warlock and Survivor Hunter at the end of Shadowland. They just wow. Top DPS no matter what. But anyway, we get into this pool right here. Now in this pool, AoE will not work until you kill the captain in here. But I'm still pulling these 2 archers back in here. That way, like we're not running all the way there and activate the mini boss over there. See, it's very dangerous here. The healers was doing really hard work on keeping everybody alive. But this one right here, yeah, you can see 5 target. Now, direct AoE will not work, but if your AoE is something like, like shooting 5 different targets like the hunter over here, it still do full damage, and that's why their damage is so high in here. And as the pole almost down, I put a marker over here, right? I'm not the leader of the group, but well, I put here so everybody stop here and we do a pole timer. And as the timer going down, right, we speed up and get over, and we can skip that. So if we do that earlier, then we may be able to skip the other mini boss, but well, again, we didn't do it. For this boss over here, for this calm, I really pray that the boss gonna pick me all the time, because like my damage is lower than the other 2, like not at bursting. So once you go down there and after you got and after you win the fight, you got 10% damage buff. If you lose 10% damage buff. So if it pick me all the time, right, these 2 guys, they can take me down very quickly. Why I take forever to take them down? I need to ramp up my damage, so I just get over here and kind of like start to generate whatever resource that I have. And you see that he take me down very quickly. It's gonna take me about like 10 to 15 seconds, and he take me down like 5 seconds, half the time. When I come back, he have the big damage. He had the damage buff, 10%. I had 10% damage last, but it's okay, My damage take time to ramp up anyway, and this fight just keep like crapping me, so yeah. Who care about that? As long as we do the mechanic. Alright, and for a Unholy DK, you don't really have to switch to the banner over here. As long as the tank pull the boss toward the banner as soon as possible, your death card will hit both like the boss and the banner, so you don't really have to worry about switching target. You can stay in the boss all the time and make sure you run out. Some people would really want to kind of like adding 1 or 2 extra global cooldown on that circle AoE and die, so just run away. You want to do like 1 or 2 global cooldown left, but you're still alive for the whole fight. So in here, well, yeah, you see I switched the banner, but again, you don't really have to. As long as the boss next to it, your death card gonna hit both and hit really hard. Right, they coming back, and yeah, this fight is really nice because the boss picking like every single DPS, and you can see our DPS were very similar. On the 15 I done the other day, darn it, it only picked me and the Augmentation Evoker. So, well, our DPS was like bottom, and the other DPS was, I think, like he paid Blizzard for that one, so he never get picked by this boss. He just staying there and pumping. So in here again, I use my speed off to run out of that thing. It was to use everything again, and if you cannot really run out, you can use Icebound 42 and like Lich Barn over here, so that way you will, like you will survive that AoE. So in here again, seeing this guy bursting stronger than me, I let him kill me, because if he let me kill him, it's gonna take way longer than that. And why you use instead the shot over here? Just hit me with arcane shot or kill shot something. Anyway, we come back in here, the boss almost dead, so we're just focusing on it right now, and of course we're gonna do AoE, fox me to running hell, and we kill the boss. Alright. Now let's say that boss, unless like you have bloodlust coming back right on pull, that boss is not worth a lust at all. If you can do bloodlust on any other different pull, then do it, because the uptime for that boss is like too low, and you just waste the value for bloodlust. And when this pull over here, you see that marker right there, it have an AoE, and that thing, the Withering Discharge, if that thing cast, right, it's gonna cause like an AoE dot on everybody, and that is not fun. A lot of time it might be wiped. So I focus on that one, and we try to kick as much as possible. Of course, like, if you can kick any other thing, we can kick it. Over here, since we do not have big cooldown right on pull, right? Everybody was holding over here, and then the tank only pull small in here. But I think that's it for this wing. We pump out the cooldown here, but we're still having loss over here. We didn't use it until the pause, sadly, but because the cooldown is not lining up, and people think like, oh, okay, let's just hold it. I think like we should just get in there, just lost, and after like 15 seconds, everything coming back, and we can pump it. Still have 20 seconds on lost. Sometimes people was like, oh, we're gonna wait until everything coming back, right? And we bloodlust to get the full value. Well, most of the cooldown lasts about like 10 up to 20 seconds somewhere. Some maybe last longer, but most of them are about in that time frame, and you don't really have to wait for that long, We can just do it, and then it should be fine. Unless you go in for something like a burning phase on the boss, we really want to wait for everybody cooldown coming up and kind of preparing for that burning phase, right? And everybody gonna do the bloodlust with the big cooldown. Anyway, this is how this group decided to do, so we follow them. Don't worry, I don't have bloodlust anyway. Okay, so in here we're skipping the big guy. That big guy is not too bad, it's just annoying and it takes too long to kill, so everybody wanna skip him. It's worth the time to wait until he pass, and then you just run through, than try to killing that guy. Alright, so in here, this wing over here, there's not much thing again that sludge special or something. You really wanna always kick that Withering Discharge at least to avoid a wipe. I think that put a dot and a slow on everybody. Okay, so after we kill that one, the tank gonna pull the next one. Now in here, if you're a range, you really wanna stay closer, so this guy will not jumping crazy too far, and then especially that caster right there, right? If it jump too far and you cannot kick it, then well, good luck to your group. So again, DPS, if you a range, even healer, if you like a far range like Breeze and stuff like that, try to stay closer. Okay, so we don't kill anyone. And also like the non-caster one, when they're jumping around, if all of them target you, you're gonna die. What you can do is keep moving. Like when you start seeing those guys jumping toward you, run forward. Just run forward, and it's gonna miss you. It's the same with the ad from the bot, from the next bot, the God Job. When it jump towards you, it's gonna do a frontal. So if you run forward, then it's gonna hit you. If you run backward, because like, oh, it jumping toward me, I'm gonna run away, and well, that is when you die, because that frontal have like 4 or 5 yard area somewhere, and that enough for you. If you're walking back most of the time, that you get hit by it. So again, for those small ad in this area right here, try to stay close to the big ad, right, the big guy, and run around him as much as possible. All right, go to God Job in here. This one is like as a DK, right? If the tank was like pay a lot of attention on you, then awesome. If they're not, then you're gonna have quite low uptime. But keep in mind that dodging the mid rack over there is always the biggest priority. The next thing you're gonna do as a melee, try not to standing still, because these guys are gonna jump again, right? When they jump, they do a frontal, and if you're staying still, you get hit by that. If 2 of them jump toward you back to back, you die. So you see that guy run away. Okay, so you see it hit me, 2 of them jump directly on me, and see how low I am. So if one of these jump on me again, I will die, right? So try your best to dodge as much as possible. Sometimes you cannot dodge everything, like even in the very high key, the 0.1% people, sometimes they die too. So if you die to this one like a few times, it's not a problem. But if constantly die into it, then well, we need to talk, right? So again, try to dodge those mid-rack is your biggest priority. And to me, like most of the key I'm doing nowadays, damage is secondary. Survival is the top one, because you know, whenever you die, then you lose all the damage. If you lose like even 20% of damage because moving, I'm happy with it, right? It's better than having 0 damage and do nothing. Okay, so that's it for this fight. Again, try your best to not staying still. Like this is too bad, but I'm waiting for that pulling in, and then now start moving. Keep moving around. Again, if you see something jumping toward you, then you're gonna start to run toward them on the sidewalk. Do not step back. Okay, and even so, sometimes like if you want, you can help your healer with some destroy as a decay. That's helpful. Again, survival is the biggest concern in here. I die so many times to that pulling in the mid rack, so I'd really pay more attention to that. Alright, so that's it for this boss. We're gonna kill it right now. And getting up over here. Now let's say this one over here. If you are if you anything else than the DK, please try to take the one that the farthest away. Don't get the closest one, because as you can see, I'm the slowest one over here. I didn't use my speed buff in here just because like in the next wings we're gonna run. Right, we're gonna run, and we need to run fast before these guys start to targeting you, and then you lap side for your healer. So I'm saving all of my speed buff in here, waiting a little bit, right? Don't try to do something crazy over here. And now here, use my speed buff, run all the way over there, keep running, dot. I'm not doing crazy, because see that when you try hard, that's what happened, right? He's a good player, but sometimes like you really have to do stuff. And it's over here. Yeah, he's dead. So I'm the only one over here. This is my favorite pull in this dungeon at a Unholy DK. But well, I'm gonna put AMZ over here. The healer is really good in keeping this guy, and he used defensive too. So I'm the only one who's here and doing this basically until this guy comes. Yeah, so when you run over that area, you really want to use a lot of like defensive speed buff to run through them as fast as possible. Okay, over here we have the healer is on the his cooldown, keeping everybody alive. Okay, so the tank say he kicking the volley. The volley is the AoE that one of the add in this wing do it. As a DK for the bone madness, if you focusing one, you can lock that thing down. But this guy do not trust me. Of course, you can see everybody send the kick. I was signaling this, and well, they let me do it. So anyway, so this guy right here. Right, so you have a kick, you have a stun, you have 2 stack of the grip, and you have a AoE disrupt. So basically, like most of the time, you will be able to kill the ad before they can, you know, like before you use all of your charge or all of your interrupt over here. Okay, and this one right here has a shield, so you can like dispel it. Hunter can use twin shot on it. Blood Elf, you can use Arcane Torrent. So you can see that I'm focusing on this guy alone. And then as they're about to do something, then I use my grip and my kick and my stun, everything that I can to lock it. So the Soul Barter is the one that having the volley, and that's why the tank say he's going to kick all the volley. So that's why anybody else is going to kick something different. Okay. Think I put AMZ over here helping people to staying alive. Let's do the next one. Now this pool in here is not fun because we're gonna need to kill those guys, and I think the tank pull this guy both sides, I think. So the train shot take one of the shield, and then we targeting. I should have targeted this. Yeah, I targeted now. Okay, so I still have like a stun and 2 grip in here, but the healer used the AoE stop, thing like that, and my kick coming back. So if I can kick them, I have 10 seconds, and that way basically like you can stop anything from that thing. So I use my Arcane Torrent over here, I believe. No, I didn't use it. I think I used it on the next pull. Anyway, locking 1. So again, if you have a Unholy DK in your group, and if he said that I'm gonna single target one of the bone magnets, let him do it, and you focus on the other one. Okay? Don't take the kick from him. You might mess up his rotation. Right, just like that. Then we get this one over here. Oh yeah, I use my Arcane Torrent here. Should be, there we go. And then I target 1. So they got all kick, right? This guy casts very slow, so you have time to react. The Hunter is really pumping on that one. Yes, he got a lot of crit. Okay, so this one right here, a lot of people was like, oh, we done, let's go to the portal. Wait for the tank to do it, okay? Let the tank go first, because if you come here by yourself, these 3 are gonna target you, and then boom, you die. Right, so I kick this one right here. Right, and I still focusing that. But the other one already kicking it. I'm still on it. Now I change to this guy, so bad over here. My kick coming back, so I kick it. I do not kick the big one because the big one only target the tank. Okay, so if you have free kick, you can kick that one, but the other 2 want to target DPS and healer as well. So you really want to kick it. But this big guy only target the tank. So if you don't have any free kick, you know what, just let the tank eat it. They will be fine. They will be fine. Even in hierarchy, they will be fine. Alright, so we go to the 4th boss, Rock. This one right here is, again, we're focusing on the mechanic than the DPS in here. I mean, like, we still do decent DPS anyway. I have cooldown pull over here, so just put it in here. But again, don't worry too much about DPS and die for some silly thing. So here we have some ARP gonna move around. They always move in one direction. And as you see that I get targeted by the boss ability, so I use my AMS. That's why my HP not dropping too low and make it easier for the healer. Okay, now over here, a lot of people will try stacking here as melee. You don't really have to, because like even if you have to stay in melee with the boss, your soul gonna push back to the wall anyway. Okay, just make sure you line up good. And then when I get over here, I just come over here and kill those ad. Okay, because we have 2 range, and if they don't targeting the ad, you know, they can still hitting the boss, and you don't you make sure you need at least one person doing that for the group. Okay, we're kicking in here, move around. The tank usually tank on that side, right? And then we don't run over there because the boss do a frontal, and when you want like that frontal right there. So when you try to run over the tank over there, and then you hit the frontal, you won't die. Also, as the tank, you can soak those up, okay? It's fine, it's not doing that much damage to you most of the time. Anyway, over here, we killing this guy, and I think like the hunter do an explosive shot, and they're just kaboom, and they're all dead. But anyway, as DPS, okay, dodge the stuff, kick the boss, kill the ad, and done. That's it. Okay, do not try to get close to the tank. Let just the tank stay over there. And again, if you're the tank, you can just stand still basically most of the time, unless you need to stacking for those ad, right? Other than that, you can just stay over there and eat everything the boss sending at you. You'll be fine. This boss is not that lethal on the tank. Okay. And those ARP on DPS is very lethal. They can kill you, so try your best to dodge it. So I put my area over here, and you can see like, yeah, no, I think that's not the hunter, that is the devoker. The explosion should be him. Right, I got hit by the boss ability, but the healer topped me up very well, even if without any defensive. And you're gonna be like, oh, so I don't need to use any defensive. The healer can keep me up. And yes, they can, but if you can help them at some level, just help them. Because you never know when things, like when problems showing. Anyway, we on the way to the last boss. And when we come up here, it's gonna be an RP that lasts for like 20 or 30 seconds. That's why we wanna skip these 3 in early. And now, see that 30 seconds right there. And now we can do this pull while waiting for the boss showing, so that way we don't waste any time. The timer can be very tight sometimes, especially with this dungeon with 5 bosses. Right, we kill the caster, and when the boss spawn, the tank gonna walk these 2 in. And the thing I did wrong on this pull is, right, I use my big cooldown. I should have just used my small cooldown, and when the tank pull the boss, the small cooldown, you can see it 45 seconds, and they only have 10 seconds left, right? So on pull right here, I will need to wait about like 5 seconds until I reach the boss, and the cooldown come back up, and I have big cooldown on the boss. But well, it is what it is. So now we have it here, hitting the boss. On this boss right here, if you are a DK, look for Manifest Death. Sometimes I forgot, but when I remembered, and you can see, right, when you put AMS on, you don't get pulling in, because that's a debuff. And then the ad will not spawn on you, so you have one less ad to deal with. Okay, and that makes things like less of a mess. Okay, sometimes I forgot, but you will have like AMS for every single Manifest Death. Okay, so just use it whenever you see that thing almost out. So like in about 10 seconds, right? AMS lasts for 6 seconds, so when it has about like 1 or 2 seconds left, you can use AMS. It's not on global cooldown. right? So like as the boss doing this frontal almost end, right, I should have used my AMS over here, but I forgot. Yeah, and now we have it. And here it is. Okay, I use my gripping hand so I can grip everything in. And then I get it. At 50%, the boss gonna do a big AoE. That's why I put AMZ down, because that AoE is very little on high key. It can like one shot every people. So if you have any type of like personal defensive, try to use it. So in here, this is when you really want to focusing on surviving. Because let's look at the timer. I still have like 4 minutes left, right? So F damage, okay? I do 1.8 million that per second. So I just use AMS. But anyway, I do like almost 2 million every second. So as long as staying alive, we're gonna time this key. I seen that. So I try to watch, every safe spot and move around and go back on the boss. So I missed maybe like 3 global cooldown over there, but who cares about that? I can do like 30 more. All right. And if you get locked in an area where you can run away, just use your big defensive whatever you can. Okay. And you can see the hunter was using the turtle over there. I just use my dead advance in here, try to reposition and come back to the boss and get on the boss, hitting it. 5% left, so the boss is dead. Right. I forgot to use my MS over here, but the boss is dead anyway. And that is about the key. So this key, basically like I got carried by this very good player. But again, I do not really die a single time, right? And that's how we time the key, because even though my DPS is lower than the other two, without my DPS over here, right, we lose how many? So let's say this equivalent to like 4 DPS over here, the tank and the healer, is damage can combine to almost like a DPS, right? If we lose like 20% or 25%, we're gonna increase the time by 25% with a fourth of this one. We're gonna add like 7 more minutes into this one, and basically that we over time. So try to stay alive as long as you survive. You do something, right? Even if like again, I don't do a lot of damage in here. I do help them with my grippy hand. I do helping them with my AMZ stuff like that. And even low damage, they still damage. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you later.